ne amane mu ti meti asɛm na nam se da bi ɛsɛ ne di nkɔmmɔ ne yɛtie asɛm ɔda akyi sɛ yi de Ghanafoɔ hwɛ animu na nnwuma da mpanimfoɔ sɛ ɔno ne wura no nano na yɛngye mfiri ewura hɔ nyame adom ɛto nsa frɛ no ɔde obɔ ne di ama kingdom atiefoɔ ne Ghana man sa no pa yi nso ɔne yɛbɛdi nkɔmmɔ no wama yɛhunu ne dae so na ni so ade hunu enti anɔpa yi for the first time yɛn papa Kofi Quarantine ɛwɔ fiase yi mekɔ studio 2 ne yɛdi nkɔmmɔ ɔpani Akwaba
Agyaba na ho tren
nyankopɔn adom ho yɛ paa
yɛkyia kingdom atiefo ne wɔn a wɔhwɛ na wɔafrika si so Ghanafoɔ a wotie yɛn no wɔhwɛ nyinaa nso yɛkyia wɔn yɛma wɔn a very good Wednesday ukuda a emu yɛ hwam na mode yɛn aba mo studio ha yɛda wase yɛda awurade nso ase sɛ yɛabɛka wɔn nsa ne yɛn ɔba bɛdi nkita ho.
Nice one. Na yɛda ase na abusua yɛ live on Facebook Kingdom 107.7 FM. Go like and share. We're live on Facebook. Nti yɛdi nkɔmmɔ no nyinaa na wakɔhwɛ yɛn papa na hofa suo ne sɛdeɛ ɔteɛ na ne nyinaa bɛboa ma nkɔmmɔ no mu awie duru. Ɔbani na wadaroma Ghana nipa 33 million plus na ohwɛ sɛ deɛ ɛkɔ na MPP ne NDC adi yɛn so akyɛ na afei yɛwɔ mu a na afei yɛtii din Kofi Quarantine dɛn na kɔfa wɔ nyinaa baeɛ
me nua Kwaku ɛyɛ bibi kakra bi mu sɛ yɛatu kwan wɔwɔ me wɔ Ghana me fii ha time a medu 16 mekɔ London kakra mekɔ New York metu kwan akɔ among bebree so wɔ wiase mehu sɛ na wɔkyekye wɔn man mehu kakra a wɔwɔ Onyankopɔn de ama wɔn bi wɔ kora wɔnni hwee na ahwɛ sɛ na wɔn ahyehyɛ nneɛma wɔ wɔn kurom a na ɛmma wo bisa ho sɛ na yɛn deɛ yɛyɛ dɛn ana so ahu na n'akɔya ne sɛ wɔn a wɔn adi ɔman so for the last 67 years no wɔn yɛn ani ne yie it could be sɛ wɔnim na wɔyɛ anaasɛ wɔ aboro na wɔn adi yɛn na menua sɛ wɔnim no wɔyɛ a ade no obi ayɛ bi dedaw nti sɛ wɔnim na wɔyɛ a ɛno ane sɛ wɔhwehwɛ no wɔayɛ bi dedaw no na wɔn mo yɛ ɔde ma wo ana ɛnyɛ saa no saa ne te wɔ wiase mu baabiara nti ɛyɛ dɛn na wɔntumi wɔn nso obiara nso atu kwan wɔn nyinaa atu kwan wɔnam aburukyiri baabiara wohu Ghana politician odi dɛ ɔsɛ sika nti sɛ mo akɔhu saa nneɛma yi na mo akɔdi dɛ mo asɛ sika ade na nde mo mfa bi mmerɛ Ghanafo no wɔnni dɛ no bi na wɔnni di daa na ahotɔ mma na ɔbɛka sɛ yɛyɛ second class citizens a yɛte ohia mu nso sika atwa yɛn ho nyinaa ahyia ɔmanpanyin ankasa ba a ɔsɛ yɛte sika so ana ɛnyɛ saa no kan yɛte sika so nso kɔm de yɛn ne refi sɛ sika no te so na mmom nnim nyansa sɛbe wobɛbrɛ wɔde nyansa na wɔde yɛ ade nti adu bere sɛ Ghanafo yɛhu sɛ wɔnim no wɔyɛ deɛ na bia nyansa na yɛhia a yɛde asi yɛde buma no wɔni nti wɔn nan wɔyɛ Ghanafo yɛdɔ wɔn yɛdɔ NDC fo yɛdɔ NPP fo nso sɛ bi adwene a wɔde bu ɔman no wɔni bi no obiara ntumi argue well obiara ntumi argue menua adenti because obroni say the proof is in the proof of the pudding it's in its eating so te ase nti yehu wonam Ghana fi baabia me anope me be no atonsum nra wodum light data nya adwuma akwan asɛe osutɔ na anu sɛ wo drive a unkura 4x4 anaasɛ pick up a wo drive enyi baabia a wɔyɛ akwan na asɛe one neglect the citizens na SSA wunti worry ye kwan one neglect one lifestyle and the considerations to the citizens. Wo ye bibia keke. Wo nra ye kudi brode ni nkontomri. Brode na ne kese te se mensa. 40 cedis ampesi. What about 2-year-old grow bedia me bisa bio. What you say? Inti deng na ekoso wo Ghana. What done 2 weeks ago me koto nkruma 5 cedis. Wama me 5. Nkruma 5 cedis. Kan wo saw. Meaning said times have changed, but omanga young soil ye mineralized. Ye were abundance of water. Uria na ebo yan sui. Uria den ye de ye sula no cry and fanye. Atuni ko bi no momone ni ye de hata. Any kunkunte. Deng ne how young leaders. So inti obien to me naming argue say there is that nothing is wrong with these leaders. There is something seriously wrong with their thinking. Because Kwaku say anka wapese wodi sika no kora mpo a anka mode munye ni nye ma amanga ma na mode munni sika no wonye ye amanga ma bre ukokolebu a youth one na would good dialysis so dialysis no kora wontumi intua dialysis ne ka inti wo aduan nso a mobɛhwɛ a nipa no inya kidney failure no nso a mo neglect nti aduan bɔne a yɛ poisons no wɔde abɛgu ha obi aba wo say approved by the Food and Drug Authority Ministry of Health nyɛ n'adwuma nti nipa di nnuan bɔne a other nations are reject na ɛsɛ sɛ wɔto gu no wɔde abɛgu Ghana market ni yɛdi ni yɛ yare wɔbra yɛwɔ the most pristine lands a yɛbɛtumi adua yɛn bibia na yɛnya food security denti ni yɛnya food security denti na over 30% of the population live under 5 cedis a day na brode nkruma 5 year 5 cedis times a day 66 cedis 3 meals 66 cedis no not to say almost $1,000 1,000 cedis for aduan kwa o memfa akae mento adru. How do you guys survive? Wa wa ye adwuma o studio hey wo bu nkonta afi ha so wo de beko fie no wo de beba adwuma na wo hwe sika wo de ma won eye impossible to survive. Won nso ni yen youth yeri de baton re ma won si yeri prepare mo for the next episode of young youth generation. Ya anye won yi how do they get the foundation to survive? Enso mo drive V8 munya free petrol multi bungalows mu wo maid servants houseboys security mu wo bonuses belt bonus elevation bonus vacation per diems deng ne how yen inti obia America kire mu se obi also revolt ama NDC and NPP na there is something seriously wrong with your thinking.
Is that not an insult?
No, it cannot be an insult because ono Kwaku ono no de hammer no bow nang so what's on the hammer no remani bio by giving them your thumb. Kwaku missy wo wujina speaker yechi wuntumi nka nkyerɛ m sɛ worokɔ akɔvotu ama NDC MPP 2024 da because make se bibi ha wadwene because wo brɛ wasetena mu teden wo condominium a wo na oyiri tim ebi kura na nware ye because aware ne ho ye ding boys bisa won wo boys here wo hey because wo tumi fa girlfriend won ko pizza wo no ko pizza ba ko pe 100 cedis unto Coca-Cola ye wo wi a ebere no akofie wo di Uber ana one ne na nto na akofie girl fan impossible in a young man's life in Ghana CC one ko university and I want to say we say or friend unemployment graduates association won't say wako school awie ya say sika ye de wako school no wawie no SSL will be an asset to the state no you are a liability for life in Ghana where do abridge say si anka kyɛ sɛ wɔbɛ nti na obi a ofi akɔ aburokyire so ɔma bio den nti because wɔn a they rendered useless in Ghana no wɔkɔdu aburokyire a they have value because there's a process. Den na ɛyɛ so different about aburokyire a yɛntumi nye bi wɔ ha. Our leaders are not thinking. Well, our position holders are not thinking because they cannot qualify to be leaders. Inti se Ghana fune me ya adwene the results are obvious. Obi to me kan chem se Kofi now can we out of place. Then now 32 years of NDC and MPP no. Then why ya Ghana? Kwaku, I mean can
okay.
What can say building a nation? There is specificity. And when you may be a SSL, we actually say we're a building nation.
You may be to say.
Near maybe to say then patch off a pen and paper.
Yeah,
take mental note of Namebe King. Now, in 32 years, actually scratch that. In 67 years, Sani Amateni, Chiremumuba Kwa Yetmia Yeni government Awaba 1. And yet 2. And yet 3. 1. Housing. Healthcare. Employment. Education. Transportation. Telecommunication. Security. Recreation. Markets. Functional CBD. Central Business District. Saniama 10 year mabubu achrewi eyi na ye foundational to nation building. Obiye ni ho minim se wetu kwan mudim wiase. Be catch me oman biye develop biya na ye hwe se Saniama 10 yi wonye ya. At least some of them, a combination of them. Yang no mame 1 Ghana yetumi aye ni in 67 years. Catch them. Niama 10 year mabubu. Niani yetumi aye ni in 67 years.
That's why we are called a developing nation.
Developing no say we take step. Into developing no necessary we put together an infrastructure here foundational to side development. Niani yetumi aye catch them.
Recently, say over here, the government in power to say, what share education, I say free education, or build the foundation be.
Okay.
It's not a perfect one, of course. But then, Musa was be say if you're twaswa, be positive. When you can't, with the.
Sa, free SHS now, walk of fanwa, but fan better in and an hour can.
So, walk as a foundation, the foundation what to a build upon.
Oh, I see. In 67 years, and Fanny to me who says yeah foundation.
Now, some trouble. Example. Okay. I'm not saying it's the perfect one.
Okay. Inti be anyone will qualify missy. One chem back one eye in ye.
Okay.
Be anyone one in ye. Mercachero. Meaning so you're presenter. Intino, as I say, we measured. Be anyone near 10 one eye in ye in 67 years. Foundation no kura wan le ni free SHS a non-functional e hun nim faso bia.
How?
Because mamen cancer munchiro free SHS should be an approach a full spectrum education process. Kwaku abrochiri wuri training abofra wuri training onipa no wanya education. We started at the foundational level, 1 to 6 years old. 1 to 7 years old. We kwa breach there. A horn watchere one day passing bibia because a horn na adrenaline ye malleable. Which mishisha adrenaline no built foundation. Inti se wo banal because we're ye free SHS a terminal. Just say at the end of the spectrum, no now we say what na de na adwene na form de down. Inti wo hwa young mofra ni pii no wo be wie school no would one go into any environment for them to be productive at. ding ma won say wobetumi aye productive because one adwene was formed already and san what one constitutions. Inti na ye mu pii no ye du abrochira den na ya wo mfefo ka kire wo mekoye na say mekoye exams bio mekoye training we bio ana meboa
san go back to niema wa ye nyina san ko efufro
adding because when in your foundation inti say wo be education either say we in a full spectrum which na baby every stage of education no when you bribi ana would the emphasis ko foundation no because abrochira bofra memeba we di 5 years old on ne tena ha na on ne di nkoma a ya na me wa misi abofra yi na twene no do foundation conversation on me have na too deep for me because me do 15 no na me nim nyansa to say me ba we di 5 so na me kwa decide college so conversations no on a higher level ne strategic thinking and a critical thinking and a well sa skills no me na me nim sa ne man me na need nko o 5 me di 15 na me nim nyansa sa so yang no ye wie inti American say then na a guide won't say 1 year policy on free SHS. Obviously, it wasn't correctly done. Now, the idea no dear good. Don't get me wrong. Free SHS idea no dear perfect idea. Now, was it done properly or nah? Absolutely not. And untino yen yahon faso. In fact, benyane say mofra no wo graduate we are wokosa visa line when the visa no when kwa abrochiri. Missy, there is no free SHS graduate or work or tertiary university or what plans is all the betene krum ha. Me boa catch them. Me boa catch them. Intina anye effective ning because a effective and wobe we no krano schools in Yuma corporate Ghana beba be recruit one internship programs no be identify and crofo a wopese wo fa won eco corporate Ghana and sakra no one graduate me boa catch them.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Thank you very much. Sana ekosoning. Enkoso sa. There over 3 million graduates are unemployed. Because even curriculums no kra wodi suade with school no enye consistent to young as a nation your needs. Who plans this nation? Hina na odwene nation no akese ye pese na ye didok no. Inti ye se ye kire nkrofo se ne wodua bro, wo harvest bro, wo de bro no gunsum na wo sua ka na wo de bodokono na yenya benya dokono adi. Dokono na yen yedua bro no a ye pese ye de bodokono no. Yen nkrofo ni na ni jejolof ho. Nti wo be wie no woni ga ka de o de be jollof na dokono na ye wasted. Sika ye invest in cornfields na ye waste. So, inti who plans this nation? When I plan nation, obviously, there's something seriously wrong with their thinking. 107.7 FM. Well, asame da wa say ye ka enyo yaw adwene ne nye dwuma for Ghana for dwuma for other things. When I parliament 275 of them enye Ghana ho no wokwadwene wokoye won business for parliament.
Wajina so ne say.
Oh, now do hu krom. Ana I won't take krom ha.
Me take krom ha say.
What krom ha we sure.
Yeah.
When ye Angel Gabriel bia wo wim.
No.
And what krom ha dia ene aduan mi di kwan ho. Den na wo krom ha kire say oman na ye rekoyen anim. Den na wo hu aside from V8 pin no whatever. Wa brabo mu te den wo hospital a wo treat wo den. Benefits are obi inye adwuma abrochi wo yi ma na otumide te ho na what send no check in the mail so we are citizen in TSS or man wahwe wo no wunya bi
no
wo sika wudi say bia wo meet criteria now we are below poverty line inti what supplement government supplement no wunya bi di inti what is the benefit of being a Ghanaian? Yen sasia gold ne diamond ne lithium ne bauxite ne nia banchi cocoa ne ade oil den na wunye di wom akwan ni nye taxes a wutua den wode ye den wode ye nsika ne ye inti as a citizen no eye den se wo betumi akese me ye Ghana ni eyi ne niam me benefit as a Ghana ni so eno na Kofi Gap se kan wo bi atwa na da pai Kofi Gap se Mr Happiness wanya ne ayi bi ono o se Ghana de obeye den because ochu toilet mu kura no ho to no so eye onipa mpani ama bebre o onipa wo hoi se no ho to no onya ba bi di ni tito onya na aduan kakra di ebia once na wa wanya ni bia kakra bia num bi only problem insu a odi begware a problem insu a mod ye di begware mo bathroom e wa ha kra insu kra ni ho mo bathroom e wa insu kra ni ho insu asa.
Have you been there?
You me wa ko mbisa no.
But we have a water in the polytank.
I didn't see use polytank. Even a system of polytank no crutches say we have failed. Won't sit down while breaching your polytanks. For the last 30 years, one year polytanks. Inti ada say yes sidanga. Obia wuri sidanga a part of wo budget say as I say winya generator. Na winya polytank. Mebo akanchirem. Wunam krom bebia no an say polytanks. Politicians need this sika gum no this is wonfi. Kwaku, there is something you cannot argue. Inti enunti na Kofi Kranten reba se edi mrea esese Ghana fo ho ton. Ghana fo we deserve obia obeso mu na anka minua mebei na why from and yes I when you from now we need problem we yere ho ton. Oh honey I'm actually interviewing will be what line no say inti mefro we yere akoye shopping bi on mofra no wa drop mofra no school and school bus abefa mofra no ko ebi amori ye ready bi say bi next month kra amori could buy akoye shopping bi aba ni ade but Ghana is your base muri to kwan anije bi wo ho mu to kwan ko ha ana mo Kwaku mountains mo kwa makotena gondolas mu na mo de na mountains no so where dear flowers in different colors just say then Kwaku Gardens ko hwese na hwaye Kwaku Gardens mifie kropon Kwaku Gardens ko hwese na hwaye the place is neglected inti na mpese mi hu say then na wo Ghana so called leaders he wo ye ni mi hu bi ko Afua Sutherland Park na ko hwe yawo in kanchia don canary what is in non canary what you say
Interesting.
Arrest
Okay.
in niama machines na wona adodo don canary ne sisi wo Afua Sutherland Park esank wo ye water park na mo fra no di goro ni ade inti the experience of Ghana ni abofra na den ana ori nyin no wa den na wona dream say me so me nyin na ma be replicate sa na me ya mahu ye of excellence. Young experience no a spectrum of poverty. Aden yen so yenya yen to me in massage yen ko prospects of excellence in the human experience. Sen abruchiri kwa unam ne me no ka say wo ye kwan a gota wonchen gota oh Kwaku nsro ye kwan ne a gota wo left and right why inti sewer systems are where you are bruchiri kokata the whole of kata just say one sewer systems say in the next 10 years and sana we are beduo because a nina underground would bola to adima echo underground now recycle kata
Okay.
well underground recycling systems young day wafa wura na odi agu abobo ye wuko di abobo ye achi bola behu agu ka so na esa odi car wash oko biara na odi bola ni fini kan mutugu abobo ya oko tu ayi bia na bola ba kon afina adim mosquito net no de akata so no fatal inti eyi gu fam na wo car nam so wo di n'akyi a bibia fi kayinum abɛbɔ car nim abobo ya na fede abobo ya na nkasa ɔyɛ baller abobo ya na okura baller ɔno ankasa yɛ baller ɛsɛ sɛ wɔto ne kyene nso ɔde afa baller na ɔkɔ bɛ 0.2 seconds 0.2 miles per hour na ɔde nam kurom na ɔde. Then what is going on in Ghana? Kɔhwɛ aboso kan wukura 4x4 wokyɛ dentures kura wo dentures ni bɛyi afi w'anum potholes ɛwɔ aboso kan nso company a ɛyɛ adwuma wɔ hɔ no efi Nuremberg wɔ Germany then na QGMI osi den wofi Nuremberg wɔ Germany na yɛntumi set standard sɛ ma wɔn abrokyiri wɔyɛ kwan a wɔyɛ pedestrian kwan for even akraman koraa bɛfa so. Ghana wahu sɛ wɔyɛ kwan a wɔn atwa kwan ato ama pedestrians da wɔ Ghana. I mean, nobody respects Ghana for adenti na abrokyiri wɔ Cospinters kɔhɛ say ɛhɔ ayɛ new our friend Syrian and new Lebanese and Egyptian so then obiato spinters na Ghana phone then na Ghana government reyama won na entrepreneurs no nso atumi dey establish businesses walk of parliament awardune yi ho how you empower the Ghanaian citizen to establish businesses si wusika na wodere kwakwa business no ne boya he prime rate ya he prime rate over 15%. One far interest in metro so yeah. How on earth can you compare yourself to Obi China Baba established business or 3%? Or would they start here at 29%? How do you compete? Before you even make any profit, we're displaced with it out. Until we see China malls, we're also a decimate in local markets. Is this not common sense? Ain't common sense. It's a make us a drilling near Juma, fe what you say. I didn't near Juma. Enye juma. Me say bibi ani ho a meka enye fact. Last year, over $9 billion of young gold ended up in the souks of Dubai. Aden yenya add value ha. Yeah, add value.
And can we do that here? Bit me add value or my
Then what requires adding value?
Talk to me.
Oh no, I'm asking you. Maybe I said a two above work comprehension. Intimate bisa say then inti na yentuming add value waha. Catch them.
Okay, say add value. Now, then I person for the sake of my listeners.
Okay, add value. Ne say obroni ne beto gold no waha. Ode konu krum gold. Me do Singapore gold this size. Pepe say $66,000. $66,000. This size gold.
To sell phone, gold. Can say phone.
To say a ye pepe.
$66,000.
Yes, Singapore gold. This size me measure 66,000. Into no to galam say no. A gold a block to say oh one fine you. Well. Inti ono fa goldi na or ade intricate designs. Na intricate design no ode ye asomade bracelet ana ode ye bibia wa add value. Na me kan what you say?
Yeah.
Inti ade auto 66,000 gold block no. Ne price no ebe kosro baby at 70,000, 80,000. What na me can say? Inti gold of 1 kilo say no. Or no enya be 80,000 or so. Meanwhile, no beto no at a fraction of that ewo Ghana. Into the American say answer na young gold be fi Ghana extra young border no. As I say young yenya the maximum value price of it answer na fi Ghana, right or right?
Yeah.
Okay. Into Ghana government no say one day gold award the bar one 9.8 billion. Now the souks of Dubai near 22 billion because Galamsey Sikana 1 year Galamsey in Crofobeton Into for 22 billion now the can I billion no ho ebro 30 billion. Into with the infant say 30 billion krempo Kwaku. 30 billion no added value times 10 ebe what 10 times 30 300.
300.
Into gold and Kwano, we could have made $300 billion.
So before I will first, you mentioned you made mention of $66,000 to of your phone size. And I'm a producer. I check your Ghana city. I said 990,000, 425,000 Ghana city.
Yeah,
worth of.
Yeah, with zero value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, udu Dubai, udu Abu Dhabi, udu Abu Dhabi.
Now say before I bet was no, say almost see galamsey for no. Almost see Ghana for go. So I turn and say na one is see.
Young leaders na adwene sabi adwene ni won team because adwene won team e den na mo broni ba no besisi wo citizen. Enye citizen no wo na make no tia say. Wo na wo yem enu nti na wa fa wo se bra be ye emra mayen. Na fa di yen so na fa hwe. Enu nti ye vote ma.
Tikese mpanimfo na adwen protect the
ordinary citizen. Absolutely. What you say? So mangba koto aduan a wode afi Saudi Arabia no di no yare a enye sabi omangba no nim nyansa na mom leader na ye fa ni se hwe yen so no na wanye wadwuma what who the difference no because enu ti na wo ye leader na wo ho fa so ne den wo na wo ye nhihye na omanga madi he wo kwa abrichiri a wo kwa America wo kwa baby a will they protect their citizens. We even India will protect one citizen. So we'll make sure say one citizen always have a leg up on Ubi our magnum. Say now we may yin singing or no ne citizen.
When you come here, it's the vice versa.
Oh, and now then I make us now interrupt me. Kwaku will interrupt me. We say when you come here, it's vice versa. Not to say what could be.
Let me pay your statement. I may add it up.
The heartache what the Ghana for it's almost as if so a person will punish Ghana for say what Ghana. Say Ghana for akwa bruchiri akonye sika kakra what the person will ban what the beboa won nuanom wa adofo wo Ghana ubedu Ghana he we baginum you phone say being what the kwen say utua duty say yedi sika afi abrochiri aba mo beje yan wa tu ni de ba beboa yen system no mo kra na mo pese mo de hama boyin ti so nyansa wom iso obroni na ono no owo shopping malls ni ade wa han ono no nya ne dollar na o mfa ni 1 week kra ha osesa no nya dollar na de afi krom ha ko Ghana yentumi nya policy say we are hoho now benya sika wa ha 90% of we sika no keep wo yen banks mu you keep your banks man ka yen dollar yen cd na lose value yen forex simple policy say where dwuma na we wa ha 90% of we sika no say we keep wa ha for at least 6 months and say na fi ha say na ye be den ye be use sika no we yen forex mu ansa na watumi use. Yes, yen ye commodities market. Yes, CD na any value no na see ye konang no. Ni di nya CD.
But here the case I am paying for $1 go one day.
Oh, na Kwaku say we me interview no ma. I think na we
me. The all can na me add anything be make be the all can na be me add
Sibia. Na who say ye paying for what do you see?
So recently ye who be was see the party them.
Oh, who keep who just say who stay on top of. Oh, okay. Who where do man into them who say na yes say who person.
Okay, very good. What can be example what say sana wo patch there.
Oh, okay. Inti say your mattresses ni na the most expensive mattresses na politicians say that's what Ghana because one mattress ni na $. Inti Kofi Kranting ba yen no electronic money blockchain near the baba ye juma. Inti we minister sika ntumi meda wonsem because Cecilia the Park could not have had mattresses full of money. Say sika me fan in sema. Na me cannot say. Sika had to have come from somewhere. So ko yi wo bank and now what be seen no so sector ni ministry and baby. If you baby they buy now you minister. Now we need sika access to cash money. na bibia ye debits and credits electronically blockchain a better than when you ska kwese matches as it possible simple way to fix that problem sana yenye dere bane hwe
Now so cool Dubai na me bamu.
you and not me refi I lost my train of thought na America na say wo call here na America make Abu Dhabi
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi
Yeah.
would do Abu Dhabi now we share the intricate designs of gold obeka say wood to gold wo Abu Dhabi abonten so hey yawo me do Abu Dhabi I cried because what would design be a what is sure be $1 million now crofo beto wa Abu Dhabi people come from all over the world to shop for gold men call mokola nkuhu gold wo mokola bebia nipa fi all over the world ba it's want to go to Abu Dhabi
Na senya Ghana nkwani to go read say ye de ne bi na mo de koy.
oh me bisa won
Okay.
say me de me pasem nti
Okay.
bebia me ko bia me bisa say yi fi ye me call baby wo hina me koy em say me actually Shanghai na me ko bisa won say one cocoa na waton what they are chocolate what they are niama wo pridem ho abibia ye chocolate ade efi ana let me say chocolate na ye fi akwana ye obia na oton na ye confused onim baby a chocolate kura fi onim say ye due onim say ye bribia wodi fi Africa Ghana na eba but onim say na ade ne te
Koko yenya koko ni yenya
onim
beans ni yenya we no.
onim say I was blown away. Also what they ba in bales just say I say one she say no kutukum no what they ba powdered na sika wonya in cocoa no Kwaku then na wope wo cocoa mu in almonds cashew nuts tiger nuts macadamia nuts just say nut bia wo wiasen what the chocolate afa ho ama why ya white chocolate why wo konso a wo mount na chocolate free na chi na wa design the chocolate wo girlfriend bi apesa oh yeah chocolate come na what do din what do din a design the chocolate no why ya ma why na mix chocolate no ne ade it's an experience ye ni bi wo Ghana chocolate na cocoa na ha ne fi wan kwa kura wo hu cocoa tree enye nim gu ase me ye president anka high street na ye the cocoa left and right. What but the land, the home of cocoa? One kwe kura wuhu cocoa. It's embarrassing. Cocoa $2.7 billion. Yeah, are they 1 cent value? Yet ni na mo bruni. Kwa di ubruni de cocoa ye was Switzerland. Ko Monaco na kwa cocoa. Hey, ko New York kura New York. Fifth Avenue. Actually Lex. Collects na kwa ni awodi cocoa ye. Ko Dubai. Ko Singapore, ko Japan, ko Germany, ko Switzerland. I don't understand. Inti na deng na yen mpanyimfo no koko no yedua. Say wo twa koko no gu no de agam se o. Inti nyansa no we he. Eso mu na mo pese mo samba be di president bi o. Nyansa na ewe he ana. Oh, say wudidi wie na ọkọ toilet ase wube jare enye saa ba humie si toilet no de bon ho nsamran ma si toilet wa bobolochi won fefo ko space the darker side of space Elon Musk ko space ko put up Starlight satellite system orbit at the lower
Why didn't you use some more fadization on toilet to see now?
Because you major.
Yeah.
See, mukra can't be a problem now, but
there be pen can be. Send them a me just a misa question there. Because these are how the questions are. Obitia bontia. Obibisa.
Okay.
And you just have to throw more lines on it.
Okay. Inti netine say you can't build a nation in isolation.
Okay.
As I say, BBI connected. Ufi one. No aku two, no aku three, no wako 4, no wako 5. Saa na build a nation ning. Until you start with the essentials, the absolute must-haves necessary will start with. So, one build here no ya, one year infrastructure, wo income na hini fiba. The first thing, wo person will build a nation, wo income hini fiba, won't mean fa bosia meye mafo.
So no wonder borrowing is part of has been the standard that they really on my
nyanse bia nim because it's sustainable.
Because that's me before yeah, but me and my ma slow some crackers and the bucket to a crass borrowing the bay on my dear, and then it's in the back to a crow yansa Mahamanum. But here's the case on Ben no you see
Mama me Ghana for muntie na men kan sam nchirem. So obi person obey president. Sena obey president no is what determines the presidency. Anything any say maybe ti hey Kwaku obi ahwe me a o se o Kofi nka wo be great president na momu ni sika. Wo pesa me ko broni ho kɔbɔ bosia na me de be flash ma atoka asakese me gina 4x4 atifi na me tu sika mankrofo no wo so na ye Kofi na me che flat screens ni ade stove rice cookers me de mankrofo se won to aba ma me eno na be ma Ghana ni nani age na wo Ghana ni no wani gye saa ne ama no ho a wo nkwa na wo de ama because politician ne ba te se Kufuado ote ho nkrofo di sika wo no ho ontumi nka hwe because eye den na Kufuado nya power no de ba government mu sika na wo de be ye election no campaign no wonya fi he Ghana ni bia ntumi emisa question no electoral commission na adwuma ntumi improve nkyere yan ba bia MPP fo nya won sika ba bia NDC fo nya won sika wo de ba power
na kese electoral commission de bisa sa question nya
require it's in a constitution says wo bisa no why assessment wo hu sika wo because we ye no anko be say sika na if it's an outside source
and it's against our constitution
Osempa anyame na mekan against your constitution ti no na red flag o say sika na wakoja o de ba be ye Ghana for election no eno so na o de ba be buo man nti onipa ensese krokoye finance minister no wo de ne kwa akɔhye finance because of sika bi asese yenya fi ho no wo di kotua oka. This is it. Inti senia onipa ne ye ne campaign no na ye an indicator say foyi ana mfoyi na Ghana fo ne ye nisu ye mfe ye pesho no what 4x4 any yi pickups wo constituency bia no ono na yeto abaman ono so no ba be boy nkron because sika na campaign bia ni ho ye free campaign bia no sika what the yen wo beto ka times 100 in the case of MPPD at times 1,000 kura. You will pay for it with your life. Send Nkrofu piye wu Ghana akwan wonye ya when accidents. Kwaku, how many accidents in your Ghana a day? Every month be I report close to 2,000 accidents and nipa wu 2,000 casualties rather. When Nkrofu between local on the internet one catch you see as casualties cost Ghana na every 1,500 every month every year. 1,500 every year in nipa from road accidents. Okay. Now, that could have been avoided. Maybe not zero, but drastically avoided if yakwang a papa. And so when speed highway 70 miles per hour to boom say Dana last week me ball joint to say bui say what can say pencil pe boy because my thought potum. So inti sa hazard see na reduce yen life. Yan so ye here life no because life no on Kwaku say God forbid wouldn't ni we say sia Ghana aboka. Obroni ni hu say say ye protect Kwaku life. Ye ma Kwaku life ye sononko na nani je no to me ye productive. And no that's the best way to make get value out of Kwaku. Now, won't be a Kwaku life miserable, no onyesika. Kwaku nye productive. Into how then do you get value from Kwaku? So, and this is a simple equation. Young penyumfunu enim no one tiase. Because they don't seem to care about the common Ghanaian life. Ghana ni bredodo wo wiase. A goodie ne niyama ye wo na echi no Ghana for bread. And that has to change today. And Nuntina Kofi Cranton and Apamfo New Vision Movement. Yere March to December 2024. So, Niere catcher the youth. Ewa Ghana na say, youth, the plane no, is about to crash. The pilots no, wonim say no, what pilot plane no. Inti se youth no ankoto aba enyi pilot na mfi ho. Ni yen gain altitude. Ni yen change direction. Ni yen change destination of Ghana. 2024 election year, Ghana will crash. Plane no ebe crash. Na yenga ye wasu na yebewu because yeba be slaves to a new nation. Probably eba be China. Because one year they won't come more than anybody else. So what I say, one mobosia infant de chichi kro. Wo bobosia na what they I build omang na omang no investment ne ba what they are chichi why near AFE. Na 67 years ka yeden then ye dia when disikan yɛmfa nyɛ biribia ɛyɛ income generating then yɛ de ayɛ ɛyɛ income generating ministries a yɛwɔ naa ɛnyɛ productive they running at deficits sika efi hɔ bɛn naa no we running at deficits then na ɛhaw yɛn me say nobody can argue nneɛma American ɛyɛ fact yɛni industry Kwaku yɛwɔ industry yɛni industry 99% plus of young industry are decimated by China and the other nations. I don't think any foreign exchange reserves. No, you need trade surplus. You will trade surplus. Anki yenko IMF. High debt, high inflation, no foreign exchange reserves, no trade surplus. It will take us to IMF every single day. Won't fix this, you always go to IMF. President Ben Waba Opeso Runner Oracle about how to reverse that trend. Mahama by work waka. Okada wasem no oka. So between Nkrofo no akotena Okada passengers what? Hey, yeah, Mahama. Wo between Nkrofo in the regions. Na wa chire Nkrofo senia wotena Okada echi because human lives matter. Na se Okada ho asem hia that much. Sika wudi Kwaku training crofo so obehu sen wotene I don't know fan create employment in ma won no obeja ukada neka
another source of employment already in the system nti oboa amana ejina yi
nyanse bie ni me na meka kire 24-hour economy gimmick we get 24-hour economy we need connectivity. How do you establish a 24-hour economy ko New York ko he New York 24-hour economy wo connectivity ni number one. Wakwang tedeng, wo train system, wo mass transit system, wo nibi. Into connectivity, how do you do it?
Sentina obey ni nyina na otimi connectivity no 24-hour na ye adwuma.
Em say damwe ni dia no pay. Wasema wo kan si hwie so.
One na o kire say obetimi 24-hour economy na. I just say onya background bi foundation bi na so.
Tie.
Nti omensi we na
Major, American. And your president no your 24-hour economy. Citizens now won't demand any supply no. It creates a 24-hour economy.
Okay.
Wo was suddenly say ubema financing aye available at rates are aye comparable. Was suddenly say ube build infrastructure. 24-hour economy no and your government no legislate. 24-hour economy. Obi between about if you have a coffee, Kwaku, yehia mofra san wo krom nti wo na oyere nwo obi entumi nkasa nkyerɛ wo. But na government ni yes okay say Kwaku wo ba first 21 years no government hwɛ on free education oyɛ sɛ ɛno no na be incent say ɛne afua ya wo ba ko kan kra you betumi afford because it's the expenses more ayɛ nti yɛn wo ba ko nka ho na wa wo ba ko aka ho na ma population na I expand but government ntumi ma make say wo na oyere nkɔ wo promfa nneɛma ngu akwan mu yɛ saa na 24-hour economy na te na me kan what you say you can legislate it into demand and Kwaku, the biggest problem no so say sika ni system no as I say we generate sika.
How do you generate the money?
You generate sika no by industry.
Okay.
As I say young yedi sika hye young agriculture anything Kofi Granting the $10 billion near the barber share agriculture for the next 10 years. Every year be at 10 billion.
And to just say, yeah, in a way, me found a chirika crowd, NPP, one district, one factory, planting for food and jobs. Industry, obody bus system, no nothing, what pushy a lot of money, agriculture system, and was said, okay, what is the difference?
Anka enobepwa,
yeah,
and so it wasn't strategic.
Okay.
Ninti anya strategic, ni say, Kwaku. Baby, I work here one district, one factory. Nina, I'm afraid we use one for the factories in Negwan back in Kumasi. Because
yeah.
Until you can arbitrarily have a blanket policy, say one district, one factory, as I say, a strategic. Echo baby mofra wo bitch me a jumano. Same me say, Meribabe, me pese Ghana funa. In your car, may build a Ferrari or Ghana. Obi to me talk because Ferrari bono price a point now you want ain't to me afford a Ferrari. Into a waste a factory. Now make an what I say. As I say, nipper to me afford. Into what demographics are would they establish one district wide factory, you know, next year how successful it will be. Now make an what I say. Okay. Into one no. You can't just come up with a blanket that you say one just be and yes and way and in a way and effective. And untina ain't changey. Yen debt rare cost run ever for catch them. Oh, there be a simple question. So men who say would they we MPP ni we a yen debt and air cost and air form. Simple question. Oh, catch them here.
Oh, see a dinkomo.
A henty air cost and air form. Yen debt.
Oh, the Aqualaquanium said there be a cost.
Oh, sir. Intina, the resultant of the one district, one factory, was it positive or negative, maybe? Yeah, effect. So that's in a cost, right? Because the whole idea of a factory will be and say, Ebema yang income. And I'm a boy, generate income. That didn't happen. Back.
Is that not early days yet?
After 7 years. Early days.
Maybe, sir.
A waste of time.
Okay.
I didn't know come. Well, yeah, near Manaka because I know I've been a Mahama Bossy 24-hour economy on ye BBS 24-hour economy. Now, fair better near generate. Oh, Yandy 24-hour economy, no, you bet training security personnel, no one guard them on Namo the Mako Majuma, Ubi or your doctor will fear security personnel could you say, may guard them on a 24-hour economy. Can't say beer him. Major, build the infrastructure and allow financing to flow and leave. Now, private sector, if you want private sector to blossom, mawon infrastructure, mawon financing, akade connectivity. Another thing and say, you need competencies for Ghana. We need competencies for Ghana. Your incomes cannot go up. We NVIDIA, so NVIDIA, what computer components.
Yeah.
Well, to me, building one microchip for $100,000.
Kingdom 107.7 FM.
Bisa me say, Woma ahe, sari ahe. Na ese say what tongue. Nkentenga he necessary what tongue na winya $100,000. Nvidia yen in one microchip. Competency no was soro. Yen competency is low. Because you need technologies. But when you can digitization. Kobe Sensei, artificial general intelligence ye deng, nanotechnology ye deng, augmented reality ye deng. No I can't chira on tiase. Mahama ding kubisa no kora. Oh no.
That's
tie no kind. Or the artificial intelligence best solve kalamsi. How? Men na mekan sa den. But mekan minim na mekan. Ono so kokan bi.
Now ye don't so no nim dia oka.
Now Kwaku say what hey me hui na me pese me de ade bo tima. Me hear artificial intelligence. If you know who your culprits are in Galamsey now, why do you need intelligence? Why you ministers? Why you members of parliament? Why you executives at the presidency? No what to Galamsey no. Who hear artificial intelligence now they are doing. Chile now what the work air policy. Who hear artificial intelligence?
Now kind also wanna kind or can be kind na who hear artificial intelligence.
Because young obi any one ma or young administration more artificial intelligence. It is our partner fixed. But to go further, no young yet the notes any census share in sasim. Worry yes we ye did ever pick up never send to service never communicate with post enforcement post no be say obiri ye did be a decibel no share say we to be na no ama enforcement aba
ncheno no say okaso be bia send ye
na wo made young no ye obi ani administration no ye Galamsey what the one crop na won won kwa ban na wo to Galamsey nti ye
then you are alleged ne bia no so far as he is concerned no ebi onim obi asa
sir oba o fix Galamsey problem oba na Galamsey no ho o fix one fix ono kra de wa kese oba be legalize Galamsey on kan say mahama na nkasa kese oba obi a be to gold ni bi
but o money share beto
really
it's already gold na manfo etu how can the foreigners come to Ghana or to gold
minia
ya regulate obo nti so kaso be ma manfo etu a e be regulation be da ho
it's say regulation be ada ho
na see endai
and so obi atu yen gold
you see Janice
and so obi atu
in that case no foreigners na omo system already no be dai
ye duwa na ebehu but obi
atu yen because
mo obi atu yen gold
ma stop you
ma obi atu yen gold bia o pese o tie gold a o be ma yen total highest value add ansa na ye di gold na ma enye wo kra na obetu yen ni betu ama
nti existing contract ni nyina na obetwa ni nyina mu
eduha na mo de mo behu na
da be say ye hunu na ejira so ato aba e say
na American say
abatwo no amanfo aye 419 bibre
na American say
mama say ye ni da ho
contracts no ye call RTI so ni RTI ye call ni ekobisa won fa mayen even though it's sank wo mayenya RTIs no ni ehu na wom nti ye nim na wo contracts no but as far as me ye concern no bia SSA ye abrogate ye be abrogate
all right. That is the assurance I want you to give it to Ghanaians.
And let me tell you why. Because Meja, Kwaku tie na meken you. Agudi ye finite. Wutua ebesa. Inti sa would the omang na holding na koto agudi swa. Esa deng na obeye. Esa deng na obeye. So inti ese say adwene ni ye develop human capital no ni ye develop. Woko Switzerland, we need gold, we need diamond, we need lithium, we need bauxite. And so one of the richest countries in the world, Dingti, mountainous as it is, one elevations here, unbelievable. But one hunyansa inye sika because nipa tna se dwene sen wobe mo man no so. Yang ne yedi bibia to yang agudi so. Esa deng ne ebeye. As I say, you empower the citizen. You empower one through technology. Ne niyama bebre ma adwene ma no ho so. tourism sike betumi anya banchi ye renewable because we dua banchi a 6 months bia betumi dua banchi bio banchi a ye betumi dia supply wiase no ye ni ho asase banchi ye nya sorbitol film sweetness what do you toothpaste mouthwash ne niama wa bruchi na sorbitol banchi ethanol banchi what do you chemicals household ne commercial chemicals be breathe bonding agent or what the bond pharmaceuticals starch. Are in the end focus on banching a renewable and say asase. Na yet to gold. Near my best say yen sassen kwani ye nessa yen water bodies. And unti to mean your food security because they sooner say na assassinate you mutilated a better than when your food security. Not just who could depend on obi for food security. Who need food security? You cannot exist in life. Because aduan obi de bro no de bibi gum sesi a wo ma na adwene nya adwuma biu. I mean, I don't even understand how this can be an even a conversation.
Kofi, I have a lot of questions.
Messiah.
Na misa question bi. I saw by so far me misa question bi.
Koso.
Misa because of misa say then na unya initiatives of president. And na ye dey kasa be do this time around. Na I wish to say every week no we can have this conversation. So far as you are in Ghana now, what time? If
I'm
say
Ghana, and I say for as me Ghana ya okay. Since 2019, Hana mete. No benku ni we na menu ni.
So why na what tuna se kakra?
Na me to me na say asa nye bone me kwa 1 week no ma ba.
So be any ho. Yeah, so be any ho. Oh, I'm saying this because of say obi o monitor me anopa bi anim say in some of kan mostly I've been saying it every morning.
Oh sir.
And
nice.
Yeah, we need a change in this nation. Na conversation seems na be boama amanfo atom je say is the all kan nyina no ubisa say majority of Ghanaians e better na we are 23 na we gina so de koto aba. When so bibi to bi trim o ye free anya so simple.
No quite.
So what to aba ma MPP ni NDC pen?
There be never.
Unto aba ma parties too ni bia. What to aba Ghana pen?
But you.
To my party.
Me to last 2020 me to ma Asidu Walker.
Okay.
Was no pen no independent.
Okay.
And parliamentary no meto ma gum.
But then before I be too quiet in your man, now you man yourself more money. Like now follow politics.
Debbie. Me fee ha na me 16.
Okay.
Inti na me nim kra se bibi ya politics
okay. Okay. Hence that a mindset in a wood. So one can so be only a man for your encounters be brave from the way you are talking, you know. Until be sound say obey a day na de atoni patrimu no. We go be hokra na de o ye no kro no nkasa onti ase. But akwa say obi ko timi ka say ye wo me to NDC mu ye me to MPP mu ye fie de ha ne ye wo. Ni say wo de se kan edwane trimu kra na ni fie ne ho no wo.
Sanity.
Na such person no say be ye betie fi no ni so na edin. Nti how do you convince? How do you educate? How do you make the populace who say, okay, baby, you're doing me near MPP who are doing bonny, me near NDC who are doing bonny. But if I say Ghana, any beautiful place, or be able to me at Namana Sumajo, none near my bobo swing, at least essential things will be a yano in Saka.
You, Netini say, there's never been a time in Ghana politics when you're a candidate or to say Kofi Kranting.
Okay.
Never. No candidate or to 2024 knows more than me.
Akufo-Addo ba so uhun se mo kan.
There be or kind na mo no wen tie ni yi. Wo tie ni yanka obon say akwai onim no oka. Me tie na me hu say oye a flash in a pan.
Then na the who says some more can then possible
so between. Ne free SHS wo ye no BBC interview no mutie. Wo bi say ni say hina obenya sika na fi wo tie no kan. Oh, be say me do fie na me ne mpanyimfo koka ansa na mehu na mo no kra na monye first e say me ne mpanyimfo na kan wo hu ba bi sika ne be fie ansa na me de ato wi ase ko chi say interview na me say papa yi oye azan
oh o mpanin na kase
oh na so ya azan nti wo ba hu nti hu so ya azan onipa ne ono ankasa otumi reprimand will be say, hey, what about national anthem? Sorry, jina na ne ba or for phone call one ho ogyina ne nkyɛn otie phone call a wɔbɔ national anthem ntumi nka hwee no ɔnyɛ aza oh me yɛ obi ntumi nka sɛ kofi yɛ yi wo boa because yɛ obi ahu
bisa as I say wo nsɛm bi obi a panyin ntumi nka nkyerɛ panyin ana hu sɛ yɛ normal
oh ɛno na ama yɛ abɔ fam ɛno na akɔs yɛn problem a yɛwɔ mu sesei wote ase ɛno na akɔs yɛn problem a yɛwɔ mu sesei nti ɛsɛ sɛ yɛyɛ truthful na te ne sɛ Ghana nneɛma pii wɔ hɔnom a yɛsɛ ɔpanyin due mante ɛnokware ɛsɛ wodi obu ma ɔpanyin mede obu man paa but woyɛ ɔtorofo a woyɛ ɔtorofo wonyɛ wo nneɛma yi a wonyɛ wo nneɛma yi the facts are the facts you can have an opinion but it's still the facts so te ase and it doesn't change nokware ɛwɔ mu no ɛyi na ɛyɛ video na yɛhu yi sɛ wodu baabi na wohu sɛ ahemfo anaa mpanyimfo bi te hɔ a wɔbɔ national anthem a wo sɛ hɛ wo ka kyerɛ wɔn wɔn sɔre na wɔbɛgyina wɔn nkyɛn na wɔansa phone wɔbra national anthem no rebɔ na wɔanka hwee ankyerɛ no that's as obvious as day it's I mean come on you can't dice it any way I will pay baby I won't even dice it that's hypocrisy what do I say selective justice we can't do that we are paying out as I said we are equitable BBM when we are consistent
aka 10 minutes na me no wi yemra obobo niema mako do so 10 as I say yenya ewo man mu
absolutely yes our nation building yentumi mfiase yes our yentumi nye 24-hour economy yes our niema woba ni na ebe kwa because the basis onipa nya baby na ebe no akoye ni parents nya baby na ebe no akoye free SHS
and what I would do is say sa niema 10 no next week Tuesday me be say ye dey no the main issue of discussion
Marty.
You find one after the other. Said the mumu a new movement, a new vision movement. How you going to implement that?
No problem.
And the next 7 minutes, and per find new vision movement. Can want some kakra.
New vision movement was established 2019.
Okay.
You're back together and you who said there be baby or man no con you hear say arrest because that time near who say Mahama de debts from 9 billion, 422 billion, a statistical increase of 1,255%. It's never happened in the history of Ghana. MPP ban will be from 122 billion. Now what they call baby a say Niametin say 840 billion cedis. One can acquire ni you can't possibly go back to handing that to Mahama because 9 billion no crown or the NBC 122 no. Into at 600 billion crown hen or the embeko. When to me handle 9 billion, add another 600 billion man. What's an America? This is just common sense. Ubia own to me 9 billion no. 600 billion in Shannon. You kill the man. What do you say? Into that's where we are. Say with Ghana. Now, say you be a odo oman no. You be or science-based, data-driven, or you human-centered with a long-term national agenda for Ghana. And into na yen 3 major na me friend say yen 3 mega threesome no mega threesome no then and say ye be change constitution, eradicate corruption, institute a national development plan. Saniama 3, as I say, in the next administration, Saniama 3, come what may, it has to be handled. Now, no candidate for president in what Saniama 3 conclusively say obey it. Ubia de nano ne nanam
3 mega threesome near a change constitution, institute national development plan. Now, what again?
And eradicate corruption. And number 2, eradicate corruption. Number 2, because corruption dinya $3 to $4 billion every year. And yamina mekai, that's what the accountant general says.
Yeah.
So what you say? And there is a paper trail into what's stopping us from getting our money back. Into in the last 32 years, minimally $96 billion is going to corruption. That's unthinkable. Imagine say you designate just $5 billion 5 billion to every in the last 32 years now, your designatee $5 billion per to every region. Imagine how Ghana would be. Yanke ya yen sewer systems na, ya yen water systems na underground, ya yen garbage systems na underground. We could have done that. 96 billions misi kokata na kohen wadi 50 billion aye. Uko Olympics nibia misi Olympics World Cup na, you'll be blown away. Kwabruchi, even America crampa go make $150, $200 an hour crowd in construction no crowd no. Uko no the $10 million project to Chirawa. You'll be blown away. Uba Circle Dubai was what the $260 million more the Circle Dubai. How? Impossible. Ubio bekase biano, they're not in their right mind. Offer Ghana for says be nim nyansa. Because projects, me background in engineering. There's no way as our project in 260 million.
Roughly in our estimation.
30 million.
$30 million.
$30 million. Because the biggest element in construction is labor. Ghana labor ya here. It will be another. Hey, Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. What a 1.5 billion you see. We see what Ghana, the same building we seen under $1 billion. Do the math. We seen under $1 billion. Because materials ni you benya wa Ghana. Labor no the biggest element you benya wa Ghana. Expertise, specialized competencies na we here for technical maybe. But it shouldn't be nowhere close to $1 billion. Into projects be away wa because of standard living year high and into
expensive.
Way more expensive. Into South Bana catch him see Circle Dubai $260 million. Odona na wakataso. No, say Circle Dubai a haven for homelessness. Any abodanfo.
In that case, when Mr. We ma Mrs. Riadapa Odona or you $43 million ewo
I want them pass.
There be a Odona.
I want them pass.
No.
Odona no da ho. Me fa ho de bia. Nkrofo da so.
Me hwa young na stubborn kakra.
Surprisingly, when you say me traits, me introvert.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
No, okay.
Naturally, me introvert. Now, can you believe that Ghana or how into here my so but what you say? But I didn't shemi muama say no my personality trait grass
as a sound
because unthinkable hey Odona what are so jun so gum kotole to gum abortion so gum ma kodona Aden na who say we're a project for $260 million. When to me and cover Odona, so near for least yan for flowers BSC so project no crowd we ye 260 million. Me say circle pipes were honum pipe no in sufimu bar ebegu concrete so one yesa. As I say pipe no one line na ne kugu in sum
underground.
Ekugu underground. Inti se nsuno tone begu ha a flat space so etori bi wo hono ma Circle Dubai baby wo hono kra won pave how wo ramps na elevation of the ramps na baby eni abrochire me say hey baby eni abrochire a wo si overhead to say Circle Dubai baby eni abrochire a wo si ni sa Ghana pen wo si ni sa baby eni abrochire a wo si a project to say Circle Dubai what ramps no elevation no kra no enye standard ukwa no akosoro na say wusiwam na
was it not because of the space in na e wo hon na ma be ekobasa
be space you create the space you the architect now create space na den na wo ho then no catch them then na wo ho
you already settled environment inti who create bisa maybe omo check is okay be say ni be brain ti enforce na enye bibi
and no friend say condemnation a law of the government to say me the mitumiri ya department when say me gi wasa se na me dey say Not just winning nyansa. You build into the future. Say whole now you're congested. Into then as way. You bubu ni ensensin foforo. Now koya na now by. As we are forward thinking. As I said, we are forward thinking as a leader. Now to me prove to who people and say, are they American for more benefit in Tina American say. Missy, opa, dakro, yanko circle. Na me kwa menchira o niame ye wrong wa circle now. You'll be blown away.
I love that. Me say one day for me kona church.
Me say you'll be blown away. Me say,
and we go with camera as well.
Oh, me say, hey, yeah, kwa. O me the drone alcohol. Ah, yeah, yes, sad. Obroni no obey no who say young Ghana for now, bitch me I say, I my now they get away. And now where you no Kwaku, mammy cane am femi. Bisa say, Minister Benoko inspecting no ma approval and son what the final payment ma. Because we'll be co-inspecting ya.
Is that necessary?
Ready
Me beside
now you are
parliament.
Parliament. Okay, say what the sika be ma.
For a good down.
Will be
$12 million, yeah.
What year inspection and then we'll say, oh, so we'll provide you procurement and says we'll try and once we'll try. Hey, move dead jail for life. Me can't be
maybe sorry because I said there's a road to be a cost was spenters. Kwani yenye and so for question half of it to dada. In this case, no, you bet your contractor the car and see in Janica.
I don't know me.
Hence, say, who here say, who verify quiet inspection who say, a competence no what yaka.
Kwaku, I mean, can't you? Yen system. We made the yen system here by and say, we are contractor. First of all, you have to be approved by the government.
Okay.
What the young criteria reference is success model no now the be build what the be build BBR into Kwaku na making nipa we na we are approved because my year orientation when who more aptitude level Matthias say more the government contract na more the babe adwuma say na say mo yenini okay merchants now or mama bo cement iron rods ni ade no our government contract approved contract merchant so into wo ba na ma circle Dubai se kwaya wo do proposal na ba na who say wo be here cement 1,000 iron rods 10,000 tons say yeah and once say it's a great corner call Kwame Mensa ho na koje wo consignment no would do sheet na kire wan wo approve of computer no so a efi finance abasi wonyi sa na mai ma na what the niama no once will be say he na person niama no ko no deliver to site one san keske bia credits ne debit memos simple enye no one now ufi kwan na sia every sequano 100% can be 100% into every 5% till the first 20% and as I say we inspect to make sure say we fia see yana into we fia se pe assessor baho oba concrete na wayen and down wayen as I say what test no who say ingredients as I say we yen na odi ayana one meaty first 5 abrochi san wayen first 5% no who failure contracts and so we give you some no we change direction what the move be for internet say wo be say ade na wo ma wo nya ade ni nwi wo fiase na no wa se no na wo no yen ne be ne say wo contract ni be ja fi ho wo ntumi nye contracting job wo till so be wu na be kwa aba wo ne wo de be collateralize obia no be contractor say wo collateralize now bond double bonding reassurance sa wo danga wo de be collateralize be je fi ho won san ka bi because any de ba be fix ade aye no wa demu aka ho won san nye wonye bio wo license na ye be revoke for life to set a standard say major miss hey Ghana da wonim na re banka mo won there me na me catch it. Me say wouldn't there. Listen, I've been a principal for the federal government for 24 years. Menya citation 1 for wrongdoing. 24 years. So what I say? into strict compliance. I've been in the most regulated business in the world as a principal for the federal government in the Securities and Exchange Commission of USA. Inti, I know what I'm talking about, man.
Kingdom 107.7 FM. Our brother, Courage, one of the team, communication team officers and NDC member.
Mhm.
Na, me know another interview as year close year. I know say punchy or mokakra.
I speak facts.
Yeah, your facts no me who say bi it was about them. It will be unfair say bia obetna na obeka say me mwako. Means all kwa about obeka say oka ho asem.
First of all, the SA established is that what the 260 million on a year.
I don't know say no ho kwa asem no obeka. And tina mpe say wo ha no respectively no. Me man opportunity.
Mini encourage me
na
nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
And very forceful. One of the entrepreneurs or one of them.
No problem.
And, I think say you're lying, no. When you come, I be boa or no ankasa.
Misu Michia,
Yeah.
Michia, your host so. And I'm Michia T4. Share online. Michia Mingina. There's something I've been saying, and I'm going to say it today, since our brother is here. The biggest problem we have in this country, to me, is that going to import this thing we call democracy from whatever place I can find is our biggest problem. We could have designed and crafted our own style of leadership
100%.
and go by that, and would have been a very fantastic country. It's been done in most of the Arab countries, and they are doing very well. Go to mention Qatar. It's not only Qatar. If you go to countries like Oman, Saudi Arabia, mention all these countries, they are not practicing the straight jacket, sort of democracy normal practice for US. It's idea so for whatever reason. And yes, we are too. And a failure, and they now struggling with it. And we should learn fast and go our own way, like some of the Asia countries are also doing. Look at what is happening in China. I watched some documentaries about China, and I was like, wow, this country probably in the next few years to come, maybe some few decades, let's say 2-3 decades to come, when it comes to technology, construction, and whatever that we should use as a pace setter, is going to be China. All right.
Yeah.
Now, me brother paying a Kassan Kekanya be about debt. And now you found from 9 billion, they call 122 billion at the time we're living. And now, per the books, they are saying it's about 700 billion. Debt itself, your ability to pay is important. US order, he has made several references to US. Omudika, they are one of the countries. Omudika pa, what we are saying they are even in China, but they have the capacity to pay. You're moving from 9 billion, no doubt about that, to 122. But the question is, we did a lot of smart borrowing. Yes, it's smart borrowing. And what I say, what call Bob Busia, I would idea, idea no etrian who can emma profit. That is not a bad thing. I'll give him just some few examples of those debts. One of them have to do with Ghana gas and Otuabo gas. It cost us about 1 billion to construct that facility. That facility became more or less the Jesus Christ when it comes to the energy sector. A supply gas to most of the plants in this country. That facility has paid the 1 billion a year, and it's still paying for itself. Before Ghana gas, we have to always carry forex. And then the from the dollar, need the cotton gas, or outside the country, Nigeria, and now whatever where we're going to get gas. So it was putting pressure on our city. And then But for Ghana Gas, I don't know how these people managing this country now would have been able to manage it. That is smart borrowing. You borrow into a very critical project that have paid for itself and still giving you revenue, giving you some level of relief. That is smart borrowing. Another one have to do with Tema port expansion and Takwari port expansion. Another smart borrowing. They are paying for themselves and the same time has increased your revenue. Before we left office, Tema port was more or less the most busiest port in West Africa because of the works we have done. Now, go and see, they mess it up. Even Togo, people are leaving as Togo because people have come and they mess it up. The work we did at Tema port, the expansion work we did there, the expansion work at Taklari port. So if you borrow money and put into this project, that is smart borrowing.
Can I
It's
ask you
not
a
bad.
question?
Let me see how you come in there.
Another one have to do with, I'm sure you said what he travels a lot.
Yeah.
He used Kotoka Airport, Kotoka before and Kotoka now, Terminal 3. That is another smart borrowing, right? It has increased the traffic on that facility, giving us a lot of revenue. It's, as a matter of fact, what our my country no revenue, giving the country a good image as well. Created employment over there. That is smart borrowing. When you borrow into those infrastructures that are paying for itself and giving you money, creating employment, opening up the economy, that you can't complain about that. Several of those projects are like that.
Kingdom
We borrow
107.7
to
FM.
build the University of Ghana Hospital. That is a facility that is state of the art you can find anywhere in the world. Go and see that facility today. Now, I told you before, when you go to Nigeria, Nigeria is a huge population, almost 200 million people. Almost healthcare is so bad. Facilities are more country, it is so bad. About the elites and almost Nigerian, all of them, they leave the country for healthcare. Either they are going to Dubai, they are going to Turkey, they are going to Europe and whatever. Yes, started building some of the state-of-the-art facilities for Ghana, like University of Ghana Hospital, no? Like Maritime Hospital, no? Like Bank of Ghana Hospital. No? Those things, we did it deliberately. These are smart borrowing, so that the people, our neighbors now move a whole lot of money going outside to go and spend it on themselves on healthcare. No? They can just cross over and come to Ghana because they will get the same healthcare treatment. You know, how many Dubai, how many Turkey, how many Europe. You know, they will get the same in Ghana. That is the idea behind those investment. That is what we call smart borrowing. So there is nothing wrong doing that. Everything good about it. My brother Kasano, you know I am an engineer by profession, a construction engineer for that matter, a trained one, project manager, and a quantity surveyor.
We do the same country.
Yes, I practiced for over 20 years before going into my private business. If you Google Kappa and Abato, it's one of the biggest construction company in Africa, the biggest in Nigeria. Talk about all Nigerian, almost big facilities, sports stadium, national, whatever, cathedral, airport, everything was built by Kappa and Abato. I worked there as a senior project manager and a quantity surveyor for 6 years before I left them. Almost ShopRite. Now I was a project manager for the first Ikeja one that we did in Nigeria. We won this one in Accra and gave it to Desimoni because we felt Ghana is a small place. We may not be able to get a lot of the project. So for my brother to say that when it comes to project, the biggest in the chain is labor, it's not true. When we are doing construction project, in fact, labor crowd now we are shrinking it because of equipment that can do multiple activities. So the biggest cost when it comes to project is material and equipment. It's not labor. It's not labor. It's material and equipment. That is the biggest. That takes a chunk of the money. Okay, so it's not true. What he said is not true. Then Kabibisu about the issue of interchange na seawall.
Circle Dubai.
Go and see it. Go and see it. I don't know what type of interchange he wants there again. I don't know. I don't know what he wants there.
Hey.
Go and see what is there. And I don't have the full facts. I would have explained to you.
Okay.
When projects like that comes, like Circle Yanuba, it's not just Circle, but you need to Circle and a Circle interchange. Circle interchange. It's a project, a package. And some of this comes with market somewhere, fire service equipment somewhere. It's a package
Kingdom
that comes.
107.7
Me kind
FM.
come now Musi whole regional hospital. It was built by a company in London called Trafalgar. Later on, Omudima, another company, Norwegian company. Sir, regional hospital, whole regional hospital buy and almost Trafalgar, no buy no. It came with almost 70 schools. Those schools are still existing today. 70 schools across the country. They built all over. It came with some boreholes. That is a package. So you will hear the thing, whole regional hospital. The focus is in it. But if you go into the details of the project, there are other things included. I know that for a fact for Circle Interchange.
And do you
I
have
know
the
that-
do you have the details?
That's what I'm
Actually,
saying.
you don't have the details,
That's what
so
I'm
you
saying. That the
can.
details I don't have. But I
Which
know.
be next time, which me I finish here with the details.
will.
Now we will be very
Maybe
grateful.
I will.
Mm.
I know that for a fact for Kaswa Interchange. Kaswa crowd, yeah. Roads crowd be kaho. There are some inner roads. Yeah. It's part of that project. So you may hear the cost, 260. It's big, but get the details and read it. Then you understand better. Apart from that, I have problem. I totally agree with him when it comes to cost. The cost of building, construction in Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, it's expensive. I must admit, way expensive.
Why is it so?
Uko international market na mu negotiate here. One of their card on the two table say mu region no fragile, it's not stable. Anything can happen. And the issue was aggravated by what happened recently in Mali, in Niger, in Burkina Faso, even in Guinea. And it's still volatile. So they think that if I win a contract in Ghana, the possibility of coup d'etat is high. They factor all these things into the cost. That's the risk.
Okay.
What is the risk factor there? So admit, yes, cost is high, which we are working on. We will get there. When the region stabilizes and there is some level of stability, we will have the opportunity to negotiate better. That is why a country like Brazil, a country like baby far footballers baby football Brazil, Argentina, a country like these countries that are very poor, they are struggling to survive. They will go to the market and borrow sometimes at 3%, sometimes at 1%. We, a country like Ghana with all the resources, we will go and sometimes go and borrow at 5%, 8%. Why? Because of the sub-region. We don't have stability when it comes to democracy, when it comes to governance. The risk is high. We are rated as high-risk countries. There can be destabilization anytime. You get my point, Agyaba?
Yeah.
So these are the reasons.
But I say, yeah.
Okay.
Ovi.
It's amazing that he would say this, but the region now destabilize Ghana, destabilize Nana Kose, Anyawanga, Anka Obi. We can be an independent country. We're a sovereign nation. Inti sa attitude or expectation of destabilization. NDC and MPP and create for Ghana. Oh, what it remember?
Yeah.
A couple of things. Inti number one. Bibia me make biano, I go more facts na medica. More na more present say Circle Dubai costed $260 million. Say and costed $260 million. More presentation I'm here than I'm American because na me minim mona mokai. I took it from you. And now say costed $1 mpoa. And yet $1 juma na mikuhin because one ye a poorly constructed. I mean, was say we a civil engineer, we a surveyor, we sa qualifications now you accept circle a substandard construction. Mema won't fail complete. Ubia wakwa brichiri wehu ade padan or massa di 10% kura. A fail. I'm not exaggerating. Me say Circle Dubai is a fail.
On the basis of what?
Quality.
How
Excellence.
did you assess the quality?
Sidewalk snippy wa 1 year.
What test did you conduct?
Oh, Major, many I have
No,
eyes.
you can't just use your physical eyes and see something and say it's some quality.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey.
You can't do that. You can't use just your physical eyes and see
Can
things.
just something you can feel it. You can see it. That's only sense about
articulated big trucks are running over that thing. Then who do we near who project now see? It's substandard. What kind of test went into it? What work did you do?
This is unbelievable.
Yes, that's the fact.
No, it's not a fact.
No, you can't. I can't just drive to America and look at overhead and say this overhead is substandard without any proper test. You can do that.
I'm not talking about the strength of Circle Dubai.
So
say
what are
there
you talking
beams
about?
be no. I'm saying say pavements be wohonoma and ye paved and nyani guho. Ti we concrete halfway. Nedu baby na nyani guhonoma. That's a concern.
You probably don't know the design. You don't have you seen the drawings?
Hey,
Have you seen the drawings?
all right, okay.
Look,
oh,
there is a place. Let me give you an information.
Let
Let
me answer to where you answer.
I went to.
Can I finish?
School.
Maybe response. Okay. I'm blown away. So this is not a conversation I'm even willing to have because this guy's level of says what test and who say I didn't see the design. It's a failed project. Odona no mokataso. Odona is part of Circle.
But was it part of the contract? No.
How could it not be? How could Odona wouldn't him? Where's the bridge? Where's the overhead enough for Odona no so? How could it not be? Inti hina no na no chese nyansa kora nkwa dinum. Because one to me nkase wuru ko see overhead for Odona so. Wabra won kata Odona so. Na fi what the ball legum. How can you say that? And no, as they mean your designs and Sandman who say and your quality product. Hey,
the issue is so DBA your reason idea. And Tibia over
any reason and no design no nyansen ni ho. Obi obeko Circle obeka chem say one cover Odona no so na one near Odona na as part of the Circle project. And I don't know what they were thinking. Number 2, ukohonoma structures no beams, connection of beams, any pipes, any waterways are 1 year no. Come on, man. Don't tell me. Now then you do my bridge you who know why.
Do you know what is called expansion joint? Do you know what is called expansion joint?
Tobwas.
Engineering.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, that's
good.
true.
Okay, understood.
Do you know what is called expansion joint?
Don't interrupt me.
Do you know what is called construction joint?
Speaking, I did not
No,
interrupt
you are misinforming the public.
No, when I finish, you make your point. Don't interrupt me. You get me upset. Don't interrupt me. So now a couple of things. Number 1. Tema Port. Mahama administration sold it to a French billionaire called Vincent Bolloré.
That's another misinformation.
Oh, irradiation.
That's another misinformation.
He
used the word sold.
But I don't see. No, I see me man and come. Yeah.
Use the word sold.
Yeah.
Ignorant about what the information you are ignorant about.
Call internet no
Use the word sold.
Yeah.
Vincent Bolloré and Mahama. Okay, inti
Tema issue no so. When na ka ho asem no, I nearly came in. Na pese owie. Is it say yedema contract say
What
build
the
and
manage?
for
Okay.
some years?
Okay,
And now
35 years. What the map Vincent Bolloré for 35 years. Now,
So it's not sold.
Mpacho
It's
member.
BOT.
Yeah.
BOT. Okay, so now listen to me. Ghana for Munti Asemi.
Yeah. To the microphone for me, so that listeners know me.
Ghana for Mpacho Mpese Muti Asemi. Mete demu na dana metimu no. Media mouse wo berent. Na wo berent down no. Na wo sublet down no mubi. Me de down no ma wo 2 cities. What sublet na winya 10 cities are. Doesn't matter if you own it or you don't own it. Who's making more money? Na me kan munti ni you. Mpacho na me kan oti ase. In today's world, you know, and yet about ownership. Because you Ghana for I wo Ghana ye indigenous Ghana for no. Ni esese anka yen ye wo ownership rights to Ghana. And so yen ye di ho de ana ahoho no di ho de.
Oh.
Aha. Where na make into the trick as our politicians he will make and say, oh, it hasn't been sold, but so we need the benefits now. It's no good anyway because what we are to me as I say we need benefits and we need into your ne or get ne is twisted no. Say, oh, the wedding no, it's not sold. You're contracted man 35 years, but bisana say me boy say. Edwuma bi a Vincent Bolloré bɛyɛ wɔ Temahabo hɔ a ɛsesa anka yɛ charge no $830 million so si den no wɔde maa no for free na parliamentarians ɛwɔ parliament hɔ gye $20 million bribe saa 832 million no sɛ 820 million. We get $20 million bribe.
You do call privileges committee.
Kofi benya
You do call privileges committee right now. Can you prove it?
Did they give away $800 million plus?
No. You are making an allegation. You are making an allegation of breaking bribe of $20 million.
I wish I would have privileges.
May come in a bribery issue.
Now, American say
document to support it.
In American say 800 and whatever million dollars are na SSA would give Vincent Bolloré Hall for expansion now what be no Ghana nya say sikana na yes or no?
Yes, and I can tell you right now. Let me tell you how no. Let me tell you how we got the money.
So we are so we are. I said, no, yeah, no, we are not what Bomuna.
Ebusiafo, information in now online. Obi a ohwe mbia ko Vincent Bolloré and Mahama deal in Tema. Mpacho move to me fair war.
Nothing Vincent Bolloré and Mahama deal. It's Vincent Bolloré and Ghana Port and Harbour.
Okay, what the Mpacho mo de mo hwe na mo hwe article na mo print in man on non kan. A special report Africa ayi mo kan kire say me boa wa di ma me boa na won so boa na American say upa je parliamentary whose responsibility is it to educate the people? Obviously, Ghana came out and said no to Mahama and the NDC because it was evident, it was glaringly clear, said these guys did not know what they were doing. And we're not going to give them a chance for them to come and mismanage our country. Ghana for bread. What by then would to me, yea? Kasa bebre no, then where to me, yea? Ubeka, hey, near yes, say expansion project. Now, Ubeka Niamane P. The end result is say, Niama 10 Yama Bubwe, Yakasi housing, Yakasi healthcare, Yakasi Sanya Maya. Aden near what hospitals were to say Kolibu. Where Kolibu lately? Wakɔ Kolebu lately. Inti adwene bɛn na ɛkɔ nipa team sɛ wowɔ Kolebu, wowɔ 37, wowɔ Ridge Hospital wɔ hɔ, wowɔ all these other hospitals wɔ hɔ. Won't elevate one standards. Wode sika no kɔkɔsi foforɔ. Adɛn na ɛwɔ hɔ no wonyɛ ne yie, won't bring it up to standard nwie. Na sika na ɛwɔ hɔ no wode kɔ start new projects because ɛyɛ sika di. It's all about say what find ways and what be sika. Meboa Ghana for mon kan kyerɛ. So when you say no bruni ye na adening, inti nkamra ha me justify say, oh, ye kobo bosia na the year projects ebe boa ni ade. Mo amfa moa Ghana fu bia, enu nti na Ghana fu decide. Enye Kofi Kranti no decide say, woni MPP ni NDC fi ho. Eye Ghana fu ne decide. Obviously say mo ye ne ya. Anka wo Ghana fu ri nyimu fi ho. Inti don't enye me na araka kyerɛ me facts no ho. And you won't be able to prove the facts. Enu nti na America say and Tina Ghana for are not going to give Mahama and our MPP a chance 2024. It's not going to happen. Inti mede na mede besi ede na makin say a pesi nima Ghana for mommy and fadwene na politicians are what ba sa sales people ya what ba one train one say mon konkudia through radio stations na mon kanyaman for emfa in confusing because this is what they specialize in. Say why ye where juma say we a politician na won koka tena radio so nka na why ye onipa na tenka wona abrabo mu say ma abrabo na akonanim Kwaku ka kire mi se meboa na ahenepa eden ekasa enkasa wo sha wo say wo tenka say my life is elevated because of Niama Mahama beye. If truly say Mahama any NDC abeye bribia change Ghana for life, they will not be campaigning for their lives right now. When you campaign into one say any yenko campaign you near na and so the was scratch and claw for oxygen right now because when him say one fa frakadama and fema nebeba enye wo finger.
Kofi Ebesia Tuesday nyameboa.
Marty.
Thanks for passing through.
Yenso yedamase. Monkoso na mamon hwe na monada Ghana for mon kind of pride because Ghana for say Ghana for any ato.
Yeah.
The more would the atro the more they lean away from you.
Yeah.
Inti yenni no kware nkyere Ghana for na yenyai atro no di. Atro na mo waye adwuma ewo ho also can ni notes. I feel no baby spill am. O spill am. Yedamase.
All right, me that see be Kofi Kranti now telling kind of new vision movement. Opania Odano. Na otening kano. Ye twaso akwa ni mo kendo 107.7